All right. If you've been following the chaos over the VA's interim final rule about medication and disability ratings, here's the update. The VA officially rescinded it. Not halted, rescinded. The Federal Register publication restores the prior regulatory text to 38 CFR 4.10 effective immediately. And I want to read one important line from it. This action does not resolve the legal question now before the court. It simply restores prior regulatory text to maintain stability while this is ongoing in the courts. Now, this is key. This isn't over legally. They just restored the previous language while litigation continues. So, right now, nothing changes. What actually happened, here's the following. The VA issued an interim final rule changing how medication could be considered when rating disability. It amended 38 CFR 4.10, which governs functional impairment, how disabilities affect the body as a whole under ordinary conditions of life and employment. Then the backlash hit, the confusion hit, the panic hit. First, they halted enforcement. Now they rescinded it entirely. So we're back to the prior regulatory language. Now, let me say something that needs to be said. And this is coming from conversations with multiple VA employees who work in rating capacities, both personally knowing them online, social media, people that collaborate in the comments, a variety of them. This rollout was a mess. I heard from 3 different VA employees alone that when this interim rule dropped, they had 0 guidance on how to implement it. No training, no internal memo explaining application, no procedural update telling them how to rate differently, nothing. One VA employee literally said they learned about the halt through social media. Literally, we heard it breaking on X and got some type of guidance on Facebook. Let that sink in. Check what she said. This is from the comment of an RVSR. That tells you that this wasn't some carefully structured, well implemented policy rollout. It felt more like a shotgun reaction, a quick attempt to get ahead of the court's rulings, a quick attempt to clarify before litigation boxed them in, maybe even an attempt to prevent more workload. But there was no clear implementation strategy. So you had all talking heads talking about things and people in the system saying, we don't even know what's going on. So let's address some of the wild comments that I've been seeing. This only applies to 4.71 alpha musculoskeletal conditions. No. 38 CFR 4.10, the regulation that was amended, applies to the body as a whole. The language specifically discusses how disability affects ordinary conditions of daily life, including employment. So it's not limited only to 4.71 alpha. It does not say orthopedic conditions only. It does not carve out body systems. Now, yes, Ingram versus Collins involved a musculoskeletal condition. That is true. But the legal principle discussed in that case was not only musculoskeletal. The principle was about when the diagnostic code does not specifically include medication in their rating criteria. This is a broader case situation. So please read the regulation itself. Don't just repeat what someone in a comment section told you, regardless of what their username is. I understand reading comprehension isn't some of these folks' strong suit, but this is your livelihood and your benefits and things you depend on. So do your own diligence. Please read it, ask questions. Don't just parrot things because it's what's trending or being discussed. This is needed because veterans are scamming. Let's stop the nonsense immediately. Benefits are for veterans who served honorably. Period. I don't know who appointed some of y'all the veteran benefit police, If you didn't deploy, you don't deserve. If you were Air Force, you don't deserve. If you did this, you don't deserve that. Stop. Your benefits do not reduce someone else's benefits. VA disability compensation is not a pie with limited slices. Fraud exists in every system. We're not denying that. That does not justify, though, punishing everyone. And it definitely doesn't justify veterans attacking other veterans. Veterans need to shut up on social media. Let's talk about that one. I've seen people saying the reason these changes are happening is because veterans are sharing their ratings, their claim wins, their experiences online. First of all, that's ridiculous. It's honestly ignorant to think that the VA is sitting at a computer, literally monitoring social media comments like, Bob from Ohio just posted his raining rule change. Please. Half of us can't even get our claims processed in a timely manner. Backlogs still exist. Exams get rescheduled. Files get lost. But now you're supposed to believe that there's a secret VA social media task force rewriting federal regulation because someone posted that they got 100% and it's a screenshot of it? Come on. Stop it. Back in the day, social media did not exist. You didn't have YouTube. You didn't have breakdowns of regulations. You didn't have communities explaining secondary conditions or effective dates. You had a VSO. Maybe good, maybe not, but that was it. And a lot of veterans didn't know what they qualified for. They didn't know how ratings worked. They just accepted whatever decision came in the mail. Now we have access to information. Now we can read the CFR ourselves. We can compare experiences. Okay, let me see. We can learn strategy. We can ask better questions. That's not the problem. Access to information is not causing regulatory changes. Veterans sharing knowledge about benefits that they earn through honorable service is not ruining the system. Now, to the litigation piece, this is still pending litigation. The rescission specifically says this action doesn't resolve the legal question before the court, meaning the underlying legal dispute is still active. The VA simply restored the previous regulatory text to maintain stability while the courts sort it out. Does that change anything right now? The short answer is no. Ratings continue under the prior framework. There is no medication penalty rule in effect. So this concept of stop taking your meds, etc., stop it. Take your meds, do what you must do. There are no mass reductions coming from this rescinded rule with a secret AI machine doing a thing. My advice remains the same. And here's the part that never changes. We do not build claims based on guessing what the VA might do next. We build evidence based defensible claims, documentation, 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 medication or no medication, side effect or no side effect, flare ups, functional loss, impact to work, impact to daily life. You do not need to run to the doctor every week for every ache and pain, but keep logs, keep notes in your phone. Bring these issues up at your appointments. Make sure your treatment records reflect your real life because solid documentation protects you regardless of regulatory swings that will happen over and over again. It's the nature of the beast. The VA will continue to change policies. That's nothing new. Our strategy doesn't change. We prepare, we document, we build strong files. And when the VA moves, we adjust. If you have questions, drop them below. If you want help building your claim the right way with people that can hold the line and not use panic as an angle to get you to do something, that's what we do here at VNCC. I'll see you in the next one. and share those with a veteran who wants facts, not fear mongering bullshit.